It's every rom-com you've seen, with cliches in every scene. So I'll admit I was glad when it was over. Even with talents like Alison Brie and Julie Haggerty, their comedic talents were always nullified. The romance, it sure seemed off, and I almost turned it off. It's every rom-com I used to know, every rom-com that I used to know, or somebody that I used to know, which is an Amazon original written and directed by Dave Franco, who did The Rental. The Rental was not all that good, but Dave Franco, he's quite good. He's also married to Alison Brie, who had something to do with the writing credits, as you see. Yes, I'm a poet, and I didn't even know it. She also stars in this, and Alison Brie is a bright, delightful, and pretty funny actress, and I look forward to seeing her in movies where she can showcase that, because her, Julie Haggerty, and a few others, this was like every standard rom-com you've ever seen. I mean, there are a few neat little ideas, and there's a little bit of realism in regards to this, but unfortunately for a concept like this, it is way stretched out at about an hour and 46 minutes. A few times it bubbles up, and it looks like it's going to have some fun, and then it sinks right back down into that. You need to just have fun and be a little bit fancy-free with rom-com cliches, because you could just end up like Maybe I Do, which I also reviewed, that admittedly wasn't all that good, even though it was fine. It was more like a one-act play. This took place in the Pacific Northwest. Why can't the Pacific Northwest get better movies? We always get movies where it seems like the cast took a fucking load of Ambien. In fact, this is like basically if My Best Friend's Wedding had the cast take a load of Ambien. So even the singing sequences just felt like everybody was about to take a goddamn 20-year nap. Yeah, it maybe seems like I'm tipping my hand about this because there was so much wasted potential here. Not that I expect much from rom-coms, but you have Alison Brie, you have Jay Ellis, who plays her ex Sean, you have Kirstie Clemens, who was in Antebellum, and she plays Sean's soon-to-be wife. You have a few other people, including Haley Joel Osment and Julie Haggerty, who was Elaine, not that Elaine, but Elaine from Airplane. Airplane was quite funny. Julie Haggerty, in the few scenes that she is allowed to showcase anything, literally and figuratively in some cases, she's at least having fun. She seems like she's having some fun. And Alison Brie occasionally gets to show her humorous side. Unfortunately, this movie seems afraid to really do anything. It doesn't accomplish anything. And if you've seen My Best Friend's Wedding, congratulations, you've seen the better version of this. Basically, Allie is a workaholic. Her show ends up getting canceled. She goes back to her hometown, which was Leavenworth, Washington. If you've ever been to Leavenworth, you'll want to leave Leavenworth after a few hours. It's a fine tourist attraction, but you wouldn't want to live there. It's in the mountains. It's terrible to drive around, especially during the winter and part of the spring and part of the fall, because it's in the fucking mountains. So yeah, then she meets her ex Sean. They sort of rekindle stuff. It turns out Sean might actually be getting engaged, but then she hatches this plan where, hey, maybe I'll, since he's reminding me of somebody I used to know and she reminds me of somebody I used to know, maybe I'll find a way to break up this wedding and I'll get him back because, ha ha ha, my show got canceled. I'm going to wreck other people's lives. It's proof that Allie isn't exactly the best goddamn person in the world. In fact, actually, you kind of don't have anybody to root for here because everybody's kind of shitty as far as the main characters. I get it, and there's a semblance of realism, a little tweak of the nipple of realism here, but other than that, there's not a lot to this. It's not funny. Haley Joel Osment tries to be funny. He was a lot better when he was in The Sixth Sense and stuff like that. I mean, he's not a bad actor. He actually is doing the best he can to continue his career, and I can't fault him there, but he wasn't funny here. The script isn't very funny. And the funny moments get subdued, again, by the Ambien kicking in. There are a few neat little song inclusions. Return of the Mac, Semi-Charmed Life, which the lyrics actually sort of fit until you realize that the lead singer, Stephen Jenkins, I believe, was talking about drugging a girl. Or being with a girl that was on drugs and taking advantage of her. That's good. That's good. I can't believe that song was given such a jaunty tune for something so goddamn terrible. Yeah, this movie is just a cliche-ridden mess. It isn't very funny and isn't very moving, and it really doesn't accomplish anything. Anything it could have accomplished really was just, washed away by the loads of Ambien that everybody took. It ends up folding back in on itself and showing that, yeah, maybe you can't go back and you have to just accept your life as it is because we all make choices and some people move on. And yeah, you can go back to an extent, but you can't go always back to the way things were and ruin people's lives. You can't do that. Why the fuck would you do that? Yeah, I'm just going to get into spoilers, even though spoiling this will not take very long and missing out on this movie will not haunt you at all. It's on Amazon. If you have an Amazon Prime account, it's free. And sure, there are worse movies to see. And I'm not going to say I hated this movie, but it just was boring and not very funny. And the the few percolating parts actually kind of annoyed me because I wanted to like this movie more than I did. So, yeah, anyway, let's just get into spoilers. It's on Amazon. There you go. That's your warning right there. Alison Brie, Julie Haggerty, the other people, they're fine, I guess. But anyway, 3, 2, 1, spoilers. Actually, in all seriousness, the cast deserved better than this. There's a cat in this. The first time you see the cat, Allie had just gotten her show canceled and she's crying. And she's holding the cat. And let me tell you right now, as a cat owner, that cat was irritated as fuck with its tail going back and forth. We get to see the cat. The cat was probably the most fleshed out character in this movie. The cat was just wandering around and purring and being a cat. And Allie had a good relationship with Sean's parents that aren't actually his birth parents. And it also turns out that Sandra, or Cassie that is, you could say Cassandra as it were, Cassie, Kiersey Clemens' character, doesn't have a good relationship with her parents because it turns out that Cassidy is also bi. Very, very bi. She's been with women. Her parents don't approve. Now she's with a guy. We even hear about that in a brief little scene with the parents. Allie comes up with a brilliant idea to basically worm her way back into Sean's life after her and Sean share a day. They share a kiss where she kisses him, but then he doesn't tell her that he's engaged and he's about to be married. That's usually what engaged means. We have a series of comedy events, sort of. It seems like maybe her and Sean might get together, but then that doesn't happen. Him and Cassidy have only been together for 6 months. She's in a band. She's going to give up that band. She's going to give up touring because she wants to be with Sean. She doesn't want to be away from him. And it kind of makes Allie reflect on the fact that she could have either gone and done her show in LA or stayed behind and stayed with Sean, who she liked, but it seemed like Sean always wanted to control her, or maybe not. Maybe it was just that people go their separate ways, such as our Lord and Savior Journey once said. But Allie ends up getting in contact with her assistant, or somebody that she knows, to get, not somebody she used to know, to basically get in contact with the parents, with Cassie's parents that she's not in a good standing with, to come to the wedding. Meanwhile, she has been tasked by Sean's mother or adopted mother to film the wedding, film all the stuff for the weekend, film the stuff leading up to it, all the fun and everything, because they're going to a hotel in Ocean Shores. Let me tell you right now, as somebody that went to Ocean Shores, that was not a hotel in Ocean Shores. That wasn't. One, Ocean Shores is on, wait for it, the ocean, and if that was Ocean Shores, then they developed a lot more cliffs on Ocean Shores than I remember, at least in that particular part of the very, very small town that is Ocean fucking Shores. It's been years, but there was one McDonald's, a couple gas stations, I think a bank for the meager amount of people that lived there, and also a grocery store that hadn't been updated since the first Nixon administration. Seriously, it's like an insane beach grocery store. Anyway, so it was filmed in part in Oregon as well. Now that's fine. Oregon's got beautiful parts too as well. Just don't say you're in Ocean Shores because I've been to Ocean Shores. Nobody likes Ocean Shores. So anyway, yeah, Allie has a conflict of interest. Turns out her show, instead of being canceled, may be renewed. The parents arrive. She has to admit what she did. She leaves and the wedding goes off without a goddamn hitch. With them getting hitched, that didn't really make a whole lot of sense in retrospect. And that's pretty much it right there. I mean, she goes back and does her show, except this was actually a sales pitch earlier in the goddamn show where she wanted to do some kind of nudist documentary thing, because apparently Alison Brie is a self-professed nudist. I am all for her realizing this. Anyway, we get that brief thing at the end. We also see her editing the various things from the wedding, and apparently, a number of months later, 6 months later, Cassidy is pregnant because they were going to get engaged because she thought she was pregnant, but she actually wasn't. And they're on tour and doing all this stuff, and she's rocking out while pregnant. And the cat's okay, so that's always a good thing. And Julie Haggerty didn't get utilized nearly enough in this movie for my liking. I mean, because he could have explored the comedic timing of Julie Haggerty and actually just had a little bit more fun with this movie. It's just too much of a repeat of My Best Friend's Wayne, and that's basically why somebody I used to know gets a C+. I know it sounded like I was going to be really, really harsh on this. I wanted to be a lot harsher, but I was like, yeah, there's enough endearment about it and a few decent things where I give it a C+. But do I recommend this movie? Not really. It's fine for what it is. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm Jar Wimplin. I'll see you soon.